2021, question number 4, subsection 1. Define the concept of normal profit. Yes. Now, when you say normal profit, what profit are you going to write? Are you going to write about the minimum profit the entrepreneur expects? Or are you going to write about normal profit is where total revenue equals total this thing? Which one do you think? What do you think? Go with your gut feeling here. Which one? Ideally, they're asking about the entrepreneur thing. Can someone check the marketing scheme and reconfirm? What are they talking about? I feel it should be the entrepreneur thing, but in my exam, if it was my exam, I would write both to be on the safer side. You're not going to lose marks. What are they talking? Are they talking about TR equals TC or are they talking about the entrepreneur? Yes, check the original marketing scheme 2020, 2021. Let's see what they're right. This is the original marking scheme. Guys, be careful with your marking schemes in your textbooks, right? Your past paper books, because those are sometimes co-authored. Question number 4, normal profit. Here, they're talking about this, right? Here, the original marking scheme is talking about what? The minimum payment that the entrepreneur expects in order to, right, continue his business. So you can say that he is performing these activities. If he doesn't receive this minimum payment, he would go off. Correct. So it has to be your gut feeling, but for me to be on the safer side, if now I figured it out that it's this, but if you can't figure it out, guys, for the safer side, write both, right? But what you think is the most important one, write that first. Okay. Is the Aston paper past paper answer scheme correct? That I don't know, guys. I've not gone through each one of this. So I would recommend to follow the original marking scheme. I usually the ST Vijayatunga one is comparatively correct. I have used that when I was doing A-levels also. It was mostly correct. The ST Vijayatunga one. Atlas Fall one is also all right, if I'm not mistaken. Other ones I don't know because I've not used. Okay, but as if you can have the original marking scheme, always stick to that. Okay? Is this fine? I'm hoping you all can handle this now, guys. So what is normal profit? The minimum profit the entrepreneur expects. And in order to continue with this thing, it's just a 2-mark question. Fourth question said it would be related to the fourth unit. Yes, it will be related to the fourth unit. So TR equals TC is also fourth unit, right? So be a little careful, but you can write both also, no problem. So we go to the next. Fine. I'm hoping all of you all know what normal profit is by now. Okay. Right. You are these even questions, no? Now, classify the following expenditure into fixed and variable costs. Quickly. Raw material, fixed or variable? Yes, quickly. If you're not falling asleep, give me an answer now. At least say VOF, fixed or variable. Raw material, variable. Rent on building factory, that is fixed. Interest on borrowings, fixed. Fertilizer, variable. So if you have more and more crops, you have to pay more and more for fertilizer, right? So simple as that. You don't have to give any explanation. They're just asking to classify as fixed or variable. These are like 3 marks in your paper. Moving to the next. Compare perfectly competitive markets with a monopoly. So what do you write over here? What can you write? Perfect competition with the monopoly. Write the differences, guys. Right? So, right now in the marking scheme, they would have given this as like a table, but that is the marking scheme. That is not the answer, right? So you can give in, you have to give 4 proper points. So your 4 proper points can be in small paragraphs, guys. You can say in perfect comparison, there are a large number of buyers and sellers, but in a monopoly, there is only one seller. First point. Perfect comparison. Second point, in perfect competition, right? The product is homogeneous. It's a unique product. You know, I'm guessing by now, guys, It will be a disgrace if you can't write 4 points. Okay, I'm repeating, if someone can't handle a question like this, that means you have not studied the unit at all. And at least at one point, if someone else in the future is coming and trying to do this question and you can't handle it, first study the unit and then come back, then you will be able to do it. So write about price taker, maker, talk about the barriers, talk about the product, talk about the number of firms, right? You can talk about all of that in this thing. It's a very simple question. Moving to the next. In the short run, firms may stay in the industry even if they are making a loss. Explain this statement. Remember we did this? As long as you're making a loss, but as long as you can cover your average variable cost, you would stay in production. So how do you start this answer? You can start this answer by saying, right, a firm making a loss would decide whether to continue production or leave the industry based on the fact whether it could cover its variable cost. Then you can say, even though a firm is making a loss, if it can cover its variable cost, that means it's earning a positive contribution, right? So as long as it can cover its variable cost, it would continue production. However, if they are making a loss and if they can't even cover, if they are unable to cover their variable cost, then the firm would shut down. That's the story that you need to explain. Let me show you the marking scheme also, right? Since we have some time. Okay, here. So in the short run, the firm is earning a loss, right? They will decide whether to operate or shut down. That is based on what? If they can cover their variable cost. And then the firm shut down if what happens? If the if a firm shuts down, produces no output, fine. So they are explaining what is a shutdown, right? So that's a good thing. So a shutdown is a temporary closure where your total revenue will be zero, but you will still have to incur your fixed cost. So when the total revenue is greater than your fixed cost, right? If you can at least cover your total revenue is greater than your variable cost. That means if you can at least cover your variable cost, then you would stay in production. But if your variable cost is higher, in other words, your total revenue is not even enough to cover your variable cost, then you would shut down immediately. So same story that we know that they have explained over here. Is that okay, guys? Yep. Can handle? Yes, no? Questions, problems, issues? It's the same question, guys. It's getting a little boring now because the same thing is coming over and over and over again. Right. Yes, price and ABC also fine. Or total revenue and total variable cost. Anything is okay. Right. Last question. I don't know why they gave 3 marks each for this though. Right. That actually scared a few students. A computer software engineer who was earning a salary of 200,000 per month decided to become an entrepreneur and started her own software development firm in which she earns 500,000 per month. What is the entrepreneur's transfer earning? What is the transfer earning? Transfer earning is the minimum that she should have expected. Think about this example. She was earning 200,000 a month in some firm, right? And she stopped and now she is going and starting her own software firm. So what is the transfer earning? What is the minimum that she would have expected if she was going to become an entrepreneur? Transfer earnings is that minimum. What is that minimum? The minimum that she would have expected is what, guys? The minimum that she would have expected is the 200,000. That's her transfer earning. But they're giving you 3 marks for this question. You actually don't need an explanation. They're just asking, what is the entrepreneur's transfer earnings? But if you feel bad just writing 200,000 for 3 marks, you can write 200,000. And then you can say, since the entrepreneur is switching from this to this, right? He was earlier earning this much. So she would at least minimum expect to earn that 200,000. But that is also not needed because they have not asked for an explanation. Here, this is the actual marking scheme. Look at this. The entrepreneur's transfer earnings is 200,000 per month. 3 marks. That's all. There's nothing else. Okay. Then the next question is asking, what is the entrepreneur's economic rent? This they are asking to explain. That you have to explain later. What do you think the entrepreneur's economic rent is? So minimum the entrepreneur expects 200,000, but he's actually getting 500,000. So economic rent is what you earn above your minimum expectation, right? So how much is your economic rent? Your economic rent is 300,000. So how 300,000? What is your explanation? You can say the minimum that she would have expected is 200,000. That is what she earned from her previous job. But she is actually earning 500,000. Transfer earnings is what you earn above your minimum expectation. So 500,000 minus 200,000, your economic rent is 300,000. So that's as easy as it can get for your 6 months. Look at this, right? So transfer earnings is 200. Minimum she expected 500. So she actually gets 500. Therefore, 300,000 is the economic rent. That's the easiest 6 months that you can get paid. So what you need to learn from here is there are some questions that can come in your paper. You will wonder why are they giving so much of mark, right? All right, so you have to write only one word for this now, or you have to write only one line. But why are they giving so much of mark? So if you're confident that you know the answer, go and write, guys. Don't get scared because you can get questions like this. Sometimes the examiner, just for writing one line, they're going to give you 3 marks. Because why is that? Because this is the first time that they're testing something like this. No? Ever in a past paper, they didn't ask for an economic rent calculation. Always what they had is, what is economic rent? What is transfer earnings? That is what they asked. So when the first time, sometimes when they ask something, they do give you more marks. So don't get scared. Go and write what you know. Okay. Is that all right? Fine. 2021. Okay. Think that this was your actual A-level paper. Could have handled, right? 2 marks, what is normal profit? 4 marks, variable and fixed cost. 4 marks to differences between perfect competition and monopoly. 4 marks for why will the firm stay even if it's making a loss. And then 6 marks for transfer earnings and economic rent. I don't think it's hard at all. Even if you mess a few things here and there, you can still at least get 15 out of 20, guys. I don't think it's at all challenging to get 15 out of 20. And if you can get 15 out of 20s, you get 75. That's a A. But we are not targeting for a 75, target for something more, guys. I'll tell you for all the work that if you are a part of the fast track, for all the work that we are doing, if you're getting only a A, that's also like you're not enough. No, we're doing so much of work, you can get more than 90 or 95. So make sure you handle and get that done. Right, we'll go to the last paper.